listen, I just want to call out one person.
And I hate myself a lot.
But stuff. You're getting punched in the dick.
There needs to be more Street Shark references.
I say who?
That's funny as hell.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Underqualified and Overcompensated podcast. I don't know what's going on.
What do you do in your life?
I don't know. I'm clicking buttons.
This is
I'm
why
your
I
host
pay for premium.
with the least most that doesn't understand how logos work. Rose. To my left, your right, my beautiful, always just beaming. Just you're fucking beautiful, Rico.
Oh my god!
Just,
thank you. Thank you so
fucking
much.
deep down in my heart, soul, I feel it.
Hey Ashley, I see you in the chat. Hey guys,
Is she already in the chat?
sorry there.
How is everyone doing? How are you doing? If you're listening, if you read the description right off the bat, we are taking people to jump into the show and we have a conversation, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So in the description above this video, click the link, follow the link, and I'll jump you in and we can talk. So let us know if you're listening, if you're watching. Okay. We're all here.
Well, -1.
Yeah.
And then eventually -2.
Yeah. And then it'll just be me watching ourselves. So how are you doing, buddy? How's life?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm just coming off 4 hours of sleep from doing another round of Let's Watch a Building for 24 hours. And yeah, I'm a little tired. You know, I'm socially lubricating for this conversation right now. And yeah, that's fantastic. And yourself, how are you doing today?
I mean, I'm going. I just spend my days getting yelled at by civilians because of a policy that I didn't come up with.
Yeah.
You know, it's super fun. And then they limit the doors and they say this door is only for employees and this door is only for patients. And so then employees try to go through the patients' doors, and then I tell the employees that they have to go around the building to the employee entrances that they've known has been going on for like past 6 months. And then they get super pissed off. They're like, "Oh, well, I work right there." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck." So
you can take a few extra steps, homie. This is for safety.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, "Well, I work right there." I'm like, "That's fine. You're gonna have to walk around the building." Like, I think you are putting too much weight on how much I care about what I'm currently fucking doing. All I care about is not getting yelled at for shit that I don't care about. So what I don't want is for someone to be behind you or you to say later, "Yeah, they let me through the front door," and then some colonel will be like, "What?"
That's the military in a nutshell. I don't care about this, but I don't want to get yelled at.
Yes. 9%.
Oh, snap! The 7th Blimp Brigade. They're in the house. I saw, dude.
Is this one of you guys?
That's he's from Cookstrike.
The 7th Blimp Brigade? What the fuck is that?
It's new. You don't have the clearance for that. No worries.
Oh, I don't. Okay. Cool. Oh. Yeah. So did I tell you last week that the White House thing just died in the water?
Refresh my memory.
So,
not for me, really.
yeah.
For our listeners, watchers.
So back in June, ladies and gentlemen, I got word that a White House medic position opened up. Basically, I would just be a medic in the White House. There's only a handful of them. There's like 10 of them and a couple doctors, and we take care of the president, his family, the vice president, and their staff. I thought that would sound like a super awesome opportunity to do, regardless of who may or may not be in the White House. I thought it would be a cool job. And you do it for 3 years, so you have to do this whole huge freaking packet. It's the White House. They're not fucking around. So I had to do an SF-86 for my top secret clearance, a huge packet with interview paperwork and commander memos and all sorts of shit.
I'm drinking like President Trump does for effect.
Oh, you have to like shake more and like, yeah. But I do the packet and I had 2 weeks to do it. I did it and I turned it in and then I didn't hear about it for like 2 months.
Sounds like
finally they messaged me back and they're like, hey, we're sending you back the packet. You need to fix some things in your SF-86. I was like, okay, fine. And they're like, by the way, it's due in a day and a half. And I was like, okay, only redo my entire packet. That's fine. I've been there, done that.
You didn't cross your T's and smiley face your lowercase I's. That's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, especially in the top secret part. And so I do that, and I turn it back in 2 days. And then 2 weeks go by, and I'm just waiting for the past couple months, just waiting to hear if I got accepted, because then you would get accepted, and then they invite you to DC where you have an in-person conversation, and that's when they decide if you're going to actually do it or not.
Okay.
And I'm just waiting, and I get an email finally from the division there, and I'm like, oh, and I click on it. It says, Sergeant Rhodes, we are sad to tell you that we are no longer looking for the position. It has been canceled.
Sorry, we have inside information. Because you've changed your mind a million times on what to do, so you're a Packet Pro. Packet Pro!
Thank you, baby girl. I love you.
It won't go away. There it goes.
But they tell me, sadly, it has been removed because we canceled it.
Yeah. What did you want to do? Yeah, it would have been cool. I work at the White House. You know what you'd have been doing? Staff duty at the White House.
How shitty would that be?
I'm in the White House, baby. What are you doing? Staff duty.
How shitty would that be? Like behind the White House, no one ever sees it, but behind that White House is like a whole bunch of Connexes and just Joe's taking shit out, putting it back in.
You know how far you'd have to walk to the smoke shack if you worked at the White House? Not even worth it.
No smoking.
Exactly.
I would have had to quit. One of the requirements was no smoking.
You would have to leave Pennsylvania Avenue every time you want to smoke.
I would have had to sneak cigarettes during lunch and like ride all the way out of DC into like Alexandria, smoke and come back in
with the windows open and Febreze blasting, so that way you don't smell.
Oh no, on a train. You think I'm gonna drive around DC? That was not the plan.
I think you would.
Nope. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, you fucking prick.
Hey, that's my new guy.
And he said they saw me, that I was the best candidate, and figured they were better off being a medic short. Probably not wrong. They were like, is this really our best dude? It's this guy and the guy who got a DUI and assaulted his family.
Hey, I didn't even put that packet in.
No, they hired him. Like, look at this guy. No, they saw a picture of me is what happens, and they're like, so we're trying to make it to where President Trump doesn't seem like a racist. We can't hire this.
Yeah, you can't hire somebody who looks like a skinhead. We're going to need to be slightly more brown to get away with this look.
Yeah. Hey, can you be less racy looking?
We're going to need someone with an olive tone.
Just reach out and hire Randolph. Just, hey, man, you got HQDA selected. I didn't even drop a packet.
Hey, it'd be like that sometimes.
It does. At this point, I'm just waiting for, because we're planning on just going recruiting anyway at the end of this, but I'm just waiting for HRC just to drop me on recruiting orders or drill sergeant orders.
Hey, get a drill sergeant.
I don't want it. But I'm just waiting for them to do it. Or like, not even drill sergeant. They're like, hey, you're going recruiter. And I'm like, oh, I was going to do that anyway, so I don't get my volunteer choice anymore. And they're like, nope.
I think you could pull off the drill sergeant hat if you like wear it like real low, like riding style.
Oh, I could. But
yeah, like you'd be joking around. I can't see you yelling at somebody. Even to the shark attack, you'd laugh.
Yeah. Well, no, my problem would be not that I would laugh, is that I would make jokes while doing it. Would be the problem. Like, I would be real serious in their face, screaming at them, and then they would be confused. We're like, he just called me a motherfucker, but then he also made a joke. And when you get your phones
back, like, share, subscribe, underqualified, overcompensated.
I think I would actually be a good drill sergeant. I would enjoy it too.
I
like
think that'd be
training soldiers
better for you than recruiter. Recruiter. I think that would be better for you than recruiter.
So the only reason, you know what, my loved ones are being great today. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
You pissed her off or she got into the vodka?
Nope. She's sober and the kids are being quiet. And she's eating like Dominoes right now, so she's in a good mood.
It accumulates, the pissing off.
No, I think I would be a good drill sergeant. I enjoy training soldiers. The only reason why I am not dropping for my drill sergeant is because of the hours. The hours are shit, and I want to actually spend time with my family, which is a crazy thought.
Yeah, that's not a real thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, if it wasn't for the obscene fucking hours, then I would 100% rather do drill sergeant over recruiting anyway. It's referred as a better fucking selection anyway. Like, people are like, oh, you're a drill sergeant. Like, that's better than recruiting. And recruiting is somehow better than instructing. And I don't know why.
Because everybody wants to be better than somebody.
Yeah. But recruiting gives me time with my family. So I'm okay with it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that. Or, in the next 6 months, I'll decide to be an astronaut. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Why not? Just don't forget to cross your T's. Smiley face your eyes.
Oh. Don't think I haven't looked at the Space Force requirements.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Oh, 100%. They don't need medics right now, though, because they're pulling all that from the Air Force. But I thought about it. I was like, what does the transfer package for the Space Force look like right now? I'm down. I'm down to do some weird shit.
Just get out and just apply to the Space Force, prior service. What is this? Recently, this dude that's like 59 years old, he got back in. He just completed basic training. So
I was confused with that. That's a heavy waiver. That is a deep waiver. That man had the sergeant major of the Army refer his ass. Like, wasn't he like a major when he was in before or something like that?
I don't know. I only half read the story. All I know
saw
is
the headline. So, and the
he was in before.
He
was in before. He got back in at age 59 and just recently completed basic training. Those old guys holding it together, baby.
That's not old. That's old as fuck.
In Army time, yeah.
Yeah. No, like, obviously he has many more years ahead of him, like, lifespan-wise. But in the Army, that's 4-star general age.
That still never make me take a PT test age.
Not if you just passed. Like, could you imagine just if he's enlisted? Like, he's got to be a higher rank, right? Like, he just went through basic, but they gave him some fucking rank. He's not a 59-year-old specialist.
That would be amazing.
Would you imagine? Like, being his platoon sergeant, be like, hey, Grandpa. Fucking go PMCS the truck. He literally has grandkids your age. That would be sketchy as shit. Watch the movie. What movie?
What movie?
Mom, you're watching movies?
Mom, what movies are you watching, Mom?
I'm confused. There's a movie. Am I in a movie? Wait, you saw that movie? Get out of it. It was a weird time. It was college.
It was all implied. There was no penetration.
It was softcore. You didn't see anything.
Just odd grinding.
Yeah.
That's not the way.
Space Force.
Space Force. Oh.
The Netflix show.
Man, I cannot wait until NVIDIA announced new graphics cards today, and one of the things is that the camera will follow you while you're recording, so that way it looks like you have
like you're always center view.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Is that a graphics card thing or a camera upgrade?
No, it's a graphics card thing. I'm
really?
Yeah, I'm about to spend some upcoming newfound money on that shit.
If you're watching still, by the way, you go to the description above the video, click on it, jump on in. We can have a conversation.
Yeah, why not?
Just like we did last weekend. It was great. I thought it was fun. So jump on in, Andy, if you're still fucking present.
Andy.
Call you shitbag of your fucking face. So one thing that I saw in the news that I wanted to discuss real quick, and if you're watching or listening and you're in the military, even if you're not in the military because it's going to affect you, the tax exemption that's going on, right? So President Trump enacted a bill that he's taking away the federal tax for the next couple months, which seems great.
Woo! Free money, baby!
Yeah, right. You're like, oh, I get a little bit more money. If you're getting paid, it helps. It doesn't help the people who currently are laid off because of COVID, like a stimulus check would.
They're already tax-free. We're just catching up.
Yeah, right? Like COVID, like a stimulus check would help, but he's like, oh, we'll take away the federal tax. That way you don't get taken out of your paycheck. And the dude who's been laid off for the past 3 months is like, thanks. But then, so they're going to take it off, but then they're going to tack it back on the taxes. Yeah. So it's going to start back up in like January coming out of your paycheck. That's fine. But all of the past 6 months of them not taking federal tax, they're just going to take it out of your taxes. So basically you don't get any money. So if or Social Security, not federal tax, I'm dumb. So Social Security, I think it made more sense for it to be federal tax, but
yeah, Social Security is like $12.
That's like $50, isn't it?
Something stupid.
I got an LES laying around here somewhere. But that doesn't make sense to me at all. And if anything, it just proves more of how like out of touch with general the populace he is.
I don't know about that.
Because they're just like, oh, President Trump, like, we need to do something for the economy. He's like, taxes. Take the taxes away off their paycheck. And his advisors are like, okay, yeah, no, that sounds good. He's like, yeah, but we're going to have to take it back at the end of the year. And then he's like, but...
See, it's a weird situation. Like, other countries, stimulus-wise, have gotten well supported by their countries. Like I probably mentioned this before. France, the American equivalent of what they've gotten during stimulus is like $7,000. The whole time, as of probably like a month ago.
Yeah, it's a good supplement.
And like the U.S., apparently our top pockets are not as deep as we thought they were.
They are. They're just not deep for us.
But there's also, you have both sides trying to like, hey, Americans need money. Let me throw in all these other things on my agenda and let's fight about it for months.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to find the piggybacks. They're on both sides. The Democrats have done it, and the Republicans have done it too, and they both keep shutting down each other's bills because they're doing the same thing that the other side doing.
It's
like,
fucking
okay,
shameful.
This $1,200 stimulus check, we'll do this. Like, this is an important thing to do, and everyone agrees. But then they're like, also though,
I would like to have guaranteed parking, and
yeah, they're like the worst negotiators. They're like, hey, Republicans, $1,200 stimulus check for all citizens. That's great. And Democrats are like, yes, no, I agree. They're like, but also we're going to take $400 million and we're going to put it back in the defense budget. And they're like, hold on a fucking second.
It's a sad, pathetic time in our.
Also, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood, and all of a sudden the Democrats like, hold on.
Hey, you know what they're not going to defund? They're not going to defund opening up hair salons for the Crypt Keeper.
For the Crypt Keeper? I heard about that shortly in a video. Actually, on a TikTok, because I TikTok and I think they're hilarious.
You TikTok a lot. You're like a fucking clock.
TikToking a lot. They're hilarious, man.
All I get is WAP videos.
For your For You page?
Yeah.
That surprises no one.
I didn't even. It started that way.
Did you log into it with your Facebook account and/or Google account?
Probably my Facebook. I'm not like. I don't know. I'm not like every post I put on Facebook. Hey, Cardi B. Anyway,
it's like, this man likes ass. Do we have ass for you?
Bing. I guess I gotta like all this now. So Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, right? I don't know. This is kicking it hard already.
She is the Speaker of the House. Yeah.
Shutting businesses down because of COVID. Decides to call this place up, a salon that she goes to. You ain't lying.
My wife's just throwing shade all across the internet right now.
Am I in a
20 feet
forest?
below
Because
me.
it's super shady. So she stealthily goes into the salon. The salon has their cameras going, and the
So
footage.
she went in because they were closed.
Yeah, she has the place opened up.
So like in her district, they're closed, and she
Yeah.
forced them to go open for her.
Yeah,
Or like paid them or whatever.
yeah. I'm sure she didn't like gunpoint, but
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
I'm okay with the image of gangster Nancy Pelosi. Like a huge 45, like, bitch, do my hair.
So she's walking around, no mask. All these businesses are like suffering. And then this is the part that like gets me. When the footage gets out, instead of like just being a human being, immediately she just says she was set up. She was set up. So she initiated this. So like if I'm like selling drugs, right? And the cops like
They do a sting, they catch
they
you.
do a sting, I was doing something wrong, but they set me up. This is the definition of privilege, what she's doing right now. She is making things go her way, and when caught by the world,
With excuses. Yeah.
I was set up. Today on Tales from the Crypt, I was set up.
But if it was to work and she never got caught, she would have been bragging to all of her friends that she had the power to just open this up.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't understand how this person is still holding any sort of office.
I don't understand how most of anyone is still holding an office.
Term
And
limits.
the video that I saw on TikTok was if her story was to be true and she was duped into it, he's like, if you were duped into it, how the fuck are you holding an office?
Hey, she just jumped into my van. You know what my van said? Free shampooing and hairstyling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was duped. Okay, Scooby-Doo, I know what the fuck happened here.
God damn, dude.
I agree with you. Term limits need to be a fucking thing.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand how they're not. Well, actually, no, I 100% understand how they're not, because the people that have to enact term limits are the ones who don't want term limits.
Yeah, and then they make more money being in office when they don't make a lot of money, like in perspective for their job, but they make all this money on the side, and no one is like, hey, get the hell out of here.
They're not making, like, their office doesn't pay a lot of money.
Yeah,
like the president gets $450,000,
which Donald Trump has foregone his salary because he don't need that shit.
Well, yeah. And people treat it like it's a noble thing, but it's a point. He doesn't need it, so it's useless money. Then.
My man has gold toilets. Look it up.
Yeah. And on the other side, you may say, well, he's bankrupt and he's broke. Well, yeah, but he owns the building at least, so he has a home.
You know what you do? You put all your money in gold toilets, and when shit goes down, you start selling shitty gold.
Shit gold. But where was I going with this?
I don't know. I went off on gold toilets.
Oh, the pay. So the president gets paid, and I'm okay with that. But how do you become a millionaire as a senator? It doesn't make sense. How much does a senator get paid?
I was actually looking it up, but got sidetracked again for gold toilets.
Like, a state senator makes $174,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's steep.
And yet they're becoming millionaires.
Yeah, and you're not saving all of it.
Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, what the?
It's
Did you
strobing.
search gold toilets?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Never mind. I like when I was a kid, I saw Lifestyles of the Rich and whatever. Stop screen. You're gonna give people a stroke, seizure.
He's a medic.
A seizure.
A seizure. Yeah, so they make $174,000 a year, and that's good pay. That's decent. But there's no way you should become a millionaire. And granted, if you invest into things, you can do that as a senator. That's fine.
But wouldn't you technically have like insider knowledge? You know?
Not in everything. Because so if you're in a committee of if your committee is the one that overlooks new companies for oil or energy, and you invest in the one that's obviously the government's going to go towards.
You know they are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% they are.
They're doing it through like shell
that
companies and
specific
shit.
Council, there are members who are invested in oil right now.
Yeah.
Like that's a conflict of interest. That doesn't make any sense. That's like my dog getting to decide if we're just not going to eat or if he gets to eat everything. And he's the one in the kitchen with the locked door. He's going to decide to eat everything. He's not even going to consult me. Like, that's a shitty analogy, but that's pretty much how it works. And it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, term limits obviously should be a thing. And maybe 4 years is too short, but let's say 10.
Is it? Because they're a lot of these dudes are doing nothing. These people are getting voted in. They're not showing up for votes. The only votes they show up for are to halt the process of progress because their side is not getting what they want. Hey, we need your support on this, show up for this vote, instead of being in like fucking Turks and Caicos or some fucking bullshit somewhere.
Fucking around on a golf course.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man. There absolutely need to be term limits on these people.
Oh, 100%. And I would say 4, maybe too short, or at least let's say as long as the presidency. 8 years?
2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
I would say 4. I would only say 4, maybe 5, because it may take longer than 2 years to get what you need done. Because let's say if this person has a plan for doing something, but the opposite party is in charge of the House, so they keep getting shot down. If you give them at least past a 4-year presidency term limit, it could switch the sway so they could get something done.
Nope, 2 years. 2 fucking years. You fix it or you get the fuck out. and that's it.
That's not their choice all the time, though.
I mean, they can affect stuff on the state level. Obviously, they're not going to affect stuff at the federal level in 2 years.
Well, I mean, so it depends. Are we talking governors or senators?
We're talking about everything below the president.
You're talking about governors and senators 2 years.
Yep, fuck it.
So the people who influence the state and also the people who influence the country.
Yep, 2 years. You got 2 years to sort your shit out or get the fuck out.
It's a short time, man.
I don't give a shit. Work hard. You were not there to take days off.
That's like if they gave you 2 years to go in and fix your unit.
Too easy. I would have it done in 6 months. Give me ultimate power. I will have it done in 6 months. Oh, well,
yeah, if you get ultimate power, but that's not how it works.
I mean, but they're responsible for their state.
They are.
So ultimately,
they can at least inflict state legislature.
Yes.
Yeah, I get the state part.
Why is California such a dumpster fire? You have
because California is a dumpster fire. Why is Florida a fucking dumpster fire?
How dare you? Florida's a wonderful place.
Like maybe
name one thing Florida's done. Exactly.
I don't have a list because I don't give a shit. But I live in Idaho. We don't give a shit about any other state as long as they stay the fuck out of our state.
Florida's perfectly fine. The people there are happy. We come together every time there's a goddamn hurricane. That's wrong. Maybe that was this year's attempt, like 2020. Let's just do a bunch of disasters, and then everyone will come together. Nope.
We got bigger shit to worry about. Well, no. See, I think that was nature's thing. Nature was like, hey, we're going to fuck up like environmentally and like bring them all together because they always come together in a disaster. Mm-hmm. But the one thing Mother Nature didn't account for was human nature. And they're like, hey, we don't give a shit about your natural disaster because we're rioting right now and we are our own natural disaster. Hurricane don't matter when shit's on fire. Like that. There's a lot. 2020 has just been a dumpster fire, and I don't know, man. I'm to the point now, like my wife will ask me, about the election coming up, or some of the soldiers that I work with, they've been asking me about the election because the conversation will come up. And of course, I talk about the Libertarian Party and third party candidates and all the other candidates. But at this point, I'm just like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't even know what I stand for myself because I'm just like, I I don't know what to do. Like, can we just take the cartridge out, blow on it, and put it back in? That's what we need to do. We need to fucking NES this shit.
That's it. It's a joke. Don't come after me, FBI guy Steve. Crash the system. Let's go. Start over. Term limits. You got 6 months to do your job or get the fuck out.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with what you say on the internet, man. The Army is going to make examples of people.
I know, FBI guy Steve. It's just a joke. This is.
It's not the FBI guy Steve. It's
Oh, are you talking about that individual that made Holocaust jokes on TikTok? Yep. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So I'm
fortunate that someone could be. So comedy is subjective, which I think is what he's trying to go for. However,
comedy comes from a dark place a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
And comedy can be dark. Not in 2020, it can't be.
Nope. It's gotta please everyone equally, or not at all.
Well, yeah, and like even through TikTok and normal comedians, they make jokes like that all the time. The only difference is they're not controlled by the government.
So it's in today's cancel culture, though. Comedians are finding it harder and harder to do their job. People are like comedians, like big name comedians, unless you have like Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle type stroke, they are like, hey, I can't do this anymore because everyone's just getting offended.
Yeah. You have to be a very vanilla comic. You can't hit anything controversial. Or if you are hitting something controversial, you have to be on the right side of the cancel culture.
Yeah. No, I find interesting. Trevor Noah. I was listening to a Trevor Noah special when I was transporting a prisoner.
A couple months back, his most recent one?
Huh? I don't know who it was. It was on Netflix. The person.
There's a few on there. All of them are funny.
The person driving the van for the prisoner transport. Well, like I said, it's like nonchalant. Oh, it's transporting prisoners. No big deal.
That's what medics do.
And I'm listening to it, and there are things like it's. God, it's not gonna sound great. There's a double standard. Like he was like doing a bit on like different cultures, and I've literally seen comics just get fucking canceled for like pretending or doing a voice these days. I did a whole fucking bit where he was just doing the voices of different cultures, and they can be seen as very very racist.
Well,
if they were
comedy, for some comedians, they can pull it off just because of who they are. But it's kind of been like that way for most of my life. There's not a lot of double standards when it comes to race, right? Because some people, white people, will be like, "Oh, well, no, you can say it. Why can't I say it?" Because you can't fucking say it. Get over it. But when it comes to comedy, like black people or Hispanic people, they can say, white jokes or about any other race, and it's fine. But a white guy cannot make fun of anyone. Nazis are the only ones white people can make fun of. And it's not because they're white. It's because they're fucking Nazis. No one gives a shit. The 15th Reich over here is not like, we are very upset.
We're talking to our lawyer.
Yeah. I once did not like your joke.
And we've just been canceled in Germany.
Oh, there goes all 4 of our German viewers. Yeah, there has been a double standard, I think, for many years, and it's even worse now. With everything a part of cancel culture, and with the Nate thing, he said an insensitive joke, but that's not anything that I have not heard 1,000 times in the smoke pit.
All I heard was the Pokemon joke. Was there another one?
No, it's just a Pokemon joke. But then he came back on before it got too big and was like, if you don't like it, it was a fucking joke. Fuck off. And didn't apologize. If he came back and like apologized for it and took the video down, I don't think anything would have happened to him. He probably would have just gotten reprimanded a little bit. But the fact that he was like, it's a joke, fuck off, that is more ammo for command to kind of come down on him and people to come against him.
This doesn't justify it, but in the military, you have a lot of people coming together from different backgrounds, and it's like, God, how do I put it? Things are a bit freer. Obviously,
we find the humor in it. We don't look deeper than that. When someone says a dark joke or an insensitive joke, regardless of your race or the race of the joke that is going on, or culture, or whatever it may be,
or whatever the topic,
we're capable of finding the humor. I'm a religious person. You know how many religious jokes I've heard? They're fucking hilarious. Or I was standing in a smoke pit once with all different races, a black guy, white guy, you know, a couple of Hispanics, and they were all taking turns making fun of each other. And not just on appearance, like making racial stereotypical jokes, and we were all busting our asses off.
I kind of wish that the U.S. had a mandatory military service.
Yeah, but I mean, but we both met that one that one person.
Yeah, there's always a person that goes too far.
Who's like, that is inappropriate. And like, fuck off.
No, I was going to say, there's always the person that goes too far, but
there is that person that goes too far sometimes, and they're usually the ones that don't understand humor and they just want to be a part of the group. It's that person that's like generally quiet, and they see a moment, they're like, oh yeah, and like this, and everyone's like, ooh, nah, too deep. Went too deep. Awkward. Yeah, no, you can't say that.
How do you feel about that mandatory military service?
So I've always actually kind of been for it. The one thing that I do make apparent for it is that it has to be across the board, gender wise.
Yeah.
Like not just males, mandatory.
Like 2 years.
Females too.
Not even like a hey, you got to do mandatory 4 years. Just mandatory 2 years.
Well, and so I think, and some people just think the military. What I think would alleviate, because people are like, oh, that's a conscription army. Well, not just the military. I think it should just be a mandatory service to a community outreach. So the military is an option. Any of the military branches, but then also police department, fire department, EMTs, something like that. You can't just, go to a park and pick up trash for 2 years. You're a part of an actual service.
I'm going to go with specifically mandatory military service. 2 years.
Including the Coast Guard?
Sure.
Of course, 2 years.
Because would you not say, if you lived, okay, let me put it to you this way. If you lived in Idaho your entire life and never left your area, compared to going someplace else, meeting a new group of people that you may not have ever interacted with, do you not think your experience would be different?
Oh, no, it definitely would be. Like, I know many people from back home who are insanely racist. And
I wasn't trying to call you racist. I was
no. I'm not saying I'm saying I know people who are.
Let me clarify. Small town perspective versus worldly perspective.
Well, yeah. So that's a part of it for me. So that was just a point. Was I know people from back home who are insanely racist because we don't have a lot of diversity in Idaho, so they don't even know a lot of diverse cultures, and they'll be offensive or hateful towards another group of people, race regardless, just another group of people. And I'm like, you've never even met anyone. Like the amount of family members that I have that are like, oh, Islam's just trying to take over America. I'm like, have you ever met a Muslim?
I saw him on a Jeff Dunham special.
Yeah. Like Alex Jones said, oh, son of a bitch. And that's right. Like if I would have never left Idaho, I wouldn't have been a racist, obviously. That's never been in my heart. But I was more culturally and racially naive joining the Army. Like, I was just ignorant to it because it wasn't around me, so I didn't understand the differences. So when I joined the Army, I asked people about their culture and, different ways they speak and talk and different things they use because I was curious about it. Right. And I go deep into people's culture because I'm curious because it wasn't around. And I would
afford you a situation like that where you can actually be invested in other cultures rather than just being shielded from it.
Oh yeah, I mean it made me realize that I feel almost more comfortable in Korean culture than I did in my own fucking country. Like, why? Or the fact that being in Europe, I never felt like I needed to have a gun on me.
Hmm.
But as soon as I was back in the States, what did I buy? Within a month, a handgun.
I'm not pro gun, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, no shit. The shotty in the background.
No, that's a tripod. It's a tripod.
But you're correct. So the military does give that.
Yes.
And I do think that mandatory military service, and I would like it to be branched out into the other places, only because I don't think everyone should serve in the military.
Okay, you're probably
because
right
there are people who conscript in now that I don't believe should ever step foot in fucking uniform.
So that's how it's going to cost money, but I think that's how you lead it out. So the people, it's really just getting people out of their small town mindset and moving them into a situation where they can see the world or see other aspects, different point of views. And I think that would just make, that alone would make a huge difference, let alone just the discipline.
I'm more for that one. So there's the cultural aspect that I like, which is great. I think everyone should definitely travel outside of their fucking country.
Yes.
I saw a comic strip that was about that. It showed an animated older dude. He was in front of a bunch of Third Reich Aryan stuff, and someone gifted him a round the world trip. And the comic strip then continued with him going to these other countries and having a scowl on his face, but then meeting these people of different cultures in India and China and Germany and India and other places. And then he started to smile more, and then it went back to his office on the first one, and he then had stuff from all over the world on it. And he was no longer full of hatred.
Yeah.
And I think it would also increase that. The culture part of it. But I think the discipline part of it, the showing, a lot of people don't understand actual difficulty in life. Like, I didn't grow up with a silver fucking spoon in my mouth, and everything that I had, my father worked his ass off for.
Right.
And not in an office, like, grinding numbers, like, shot himself in the ass with a fucking nail gun working his ass off.
Hell yeah. What do you...
He was filling up his bag pouch and shot himself in the ass. Funny story. But everything that he got for us, he worked his ass off. And everything that I've gotten from my family, I've worked my ass off for. And so and you're the same way. So we know difficulty in life.
Yeah.
Other people don't. And we see it in the Army. People join and they got daddy's money or had it, and they don't know how to fucking take care of their own life.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do laundry. They don't know why they're cleaning shit.
Yeah.
They don't know how to take care of themselves. And I think them being mandatory in the military would give them discipline, a sense of self-worth. Like, you know what you're doing. It would give a lot of young people a skill that they didn't know that they could learn or have.
It would open up.
And with that, you could make it better with it if you actually made it to where Army training and Army jobs were more applicable to the outside world.
Yeah.
Where someone came in a combo, there was something where it literally translated to without a technical certificate.
I think it would be. It'll never happen, but I think it would be the best thing for this.
Not in our lifetime, it won't. Because Korea does it, and Korea's done it since the war.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's something that when talking to some of my Korean friends that I've developed over there, they don't mind it. Like, to them, it's a normal thing that everyone has to do, and they don't think of it as the military trying to militarize the community. Because everyone is still people. They just have to go into the military for 2 years.
Yeah.
Or the police force is their other option. And they go and they do that, and they get disciplined.
Else.
Huh?
I said,
put them in a police force fucking somewhere else.
Okay, that's
a little different. Korea's a smaller country, so
I just want to remove people, because when you step outside of your environment and you are immersed in like another area, even if it's just another state, it's such an eye-opening experience. This is like very superficial kind of. I can't stand driving in America anymore. Germany spoiled me on driving.
100%.
I can't.
I think it made me a better driver.
I was driving the other day off post on the highway, and I thought I was going to die.
Every time I get on the highway in Texas, I feel like I'm gonna fucking die.
I'm an amazing driver, but I'm like, wow, what is going on here? Germany spoiled me on being able to drive.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, there's just other things that you realize, like conversations I have with other soldiers, like other guys who have been to Germany or Korea. We all talk about the differences between here and there. And yeah, there's the food and the culture and stuff, but just like normal things. The train system in Korea is but hands down the best train system I've ever ridden on. The Autobahn in Germany and Europe, fan-fucking-tastic. The fact that we don't have it makes no sense.
No sense.
And most of their road laws make fucking sense.
I've been seeing it more lately, like from various people. You've never lived outside your country, and it shows, or something like that. Or
yes. Well, that's the thing. Like, we talk about this, but talking around civilians, like, they just don't have a concept of it.
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciate what you have when you see something otherwise. So I've been to places that were good, but I've also traveled through European countries that don't look like places that I want to live. I've been to,
Scary.
I've been to Spain, and I've been to Switzerland, which is very nice. And even Prague, very nice country. Korea, very nice place to go. But I've also been to bumfuck Latvia, which actually, you know what? Screw the bumfuck part. Just Latvia.
I had my last Latvian MRE like a month ago.
Oh, did you? Slightly good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. But the whole country looks like when you watch a movie and they're in like back east fucking Europe, that's what the whole country looks like. And we're driving through capital cities that look run the fuck down. And then we go into the bumfuck nowhere and it looks exactly the fucking same. And we're like, I don't want to live here. Like, it's a beautiful country. Beautiful. Great people. But they're low income country.
Yeah.
And Lithuania towards the northern part was kind of like it. And Poland in certain parts kind of too. But I mean, it makes you appreciate what you have. It's just like if you live in a nicer neighborhood in the States and you go to a more low income area that's not necessarily low income means worse place, but let's say a place that just doesn't take care of itself or can't take care of itself, it makes you appreciate what you have. And hopefully it makes you appreciate it in a I'm grateful kind of way and not I'm better than them kind of way, which some people have. But I think a mandatory service would help that a lot.
It'll never happen, but if I think in a perfect world, a mandatory service in this country would change everything. It would be a game changer. Let's go Starship Troopers. You're talking about people not getting in. If you don't get in, you can't vote.
Right? That'd be interesting. And like I've had this conversation. I had someone go, well, if you have girls, so would you want girls to join the military? I was like, yes. If it wasn't for the fact that I know that they were going to get fucked over, like I'm getting fucked over in the Army on a daily basis, I would totally have them join. That's not the best part. The best part is what I've learned as a soldier.
Yes.
The things that the Army has instilled in me to make me are the best parts of the military. And I will never regret those. Do I regret the bullshit that I go to on a daily basis in my job? Yeah, it sucks. And I don't want my kids to experience that. But that's also not everyone's experience.
No. My first two contracts are great. My third one.
And sometimes it's worth it. You do 4 years, you get what you need from the military, and then you deuce out. You don't have to make it a career like some people do. And there's plenty of people that are very successful because of the time that they were in.
Yeah. And
in spite of the time that they were in. And I've said it for many years. And we've had this conversation with other people before. I've said it for many years that I do think that a mandatory conscription would be, especially in this culture.
It would be a game changer.
I think it would be. It would open up a lot of people's eyes. I think it would take away a lot of hate.
Oh, God, yes.
It would.
Don't get us wrong. There's still people that do stupid shit in the military.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to make you all of a sudden this highly disciplined soldier.
I'm the greatest person in the world now. No. It's gonna.
But guess what? If you're a shitbag in the civilian world and then you join the military, you're just going to get kicked out because you're a shitbag.
It's opening your mind to other cultures and getting discipline that maybe you didn't get in your life, and maybe it might fucking help.
Yeah. I think it would 100% take away a lot of hatred in the world.
Oh yeah,
like racism over a span of like 40 years would go down.
I'm going 99% because there was a dude not too long ago that was working with his peeps back home to like ambush his unit. So there's always the 1%. There's always going to be that asshole.
To ambush his unit because he had too many people of color.
I forget the story, but yeah, it was something racist.
Oh, really? It was just something racist.
So there's always going to be the 1%.
Yeah.
But the numbers would go down significantly with a worldly perspective, and just a discipline that people just aren't. The world has changed.
Yeah, it's the same reason. The same reason that I would appreciate my children doing military would be the same reason why I push for my children to do sports. It instills characters that I wouldn't want them not to learn.
Yeah.
To do team sports. And regardless that, soccer, cheerleading, wrestling, tennis, like especially bigger team sports where you're kind of an individual, but you're working as a team, like wrestling, you're on your own, but you're working for a bigger cause.
Yeah.
It instills, which is the army, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing your own thing and you're working to help other people. And it instills a sense of bigger than you.
Yeah.
And it takes the head out of your fucking ass.
And
if it doesn't, then you get kicked out because you're not a team player.
People just don't seem to understand bigger than you anymore.
And I think it would actually retain. I think it would help with retaining soldiers. Because or not retaining them for retention. I think so. Like soldiers getting kicked out, right?
Yeah, we have high turnover.
I think it would change that. Soldiers like getting kicked out for doing dumb shit because then it's a normal thing to do your 2 years and get out. So an employer seeing someone who just did their 2 years, got out and got a new job is going to see that as normal. But if you get a dishonorable discharge, they're going to be like, what did you do that everyone else around you couldn't do? Like, what couldn't you do that everyone around you had accomplished? Like, how terrible are you? I think that would change it to where people would be more prone to just completing their 2 years honorably.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take recruiters away entirely. Wouldn't need recruiters anymore. All the recruiters would be reformed over to drill sergeants is what would happen.
Or you could have the recruiters in a situation where they're determining which people are, I don't know. There would have to be something where somebody figures out, hey, this person is, because if you're automatically getting in after high school, then someone has to figure out, is this person going to be an officer or enlisted? So maybe.
Well, there would be people like at MEPS processing people. Yeah, that's probably what they would end up doing. And then I'd say it would be, you get to choose. Like in high school, your senior year, you take an ASVAB, and then off that score, you then get to decide which fucking booth you go to.
We basically just requested a Starship Troopers feature.
Yep, pretty much. I think it's great. And if you scored shitty on the ASVAB and you can't go over in the Air Force, well, look at you, buddy. Come over to the Army, my friend.
Do you like crayons? You can go to the Marines.
Yeah. And then you got a dude over here like Marine, recruiter and Army recruiter, like, shoot.
I wanted Smith.
And then if you put them side by side, I can just imagine it being like, oh, so like, what do you have? We don't really have anything. And then the Marine recruiter's like, well, we have this. And all of a sudden the guy's like, hey, we have special forces. Do you want to be special forces? We have $20,000.
But you have to stay in for 6 years.
Yeah, it would take away bonuses altogether for your first enlistment.
I'm a medic. I've never gotten a bonus anyway. I don't give a shit.
Neither have I. You realize how pissed off it makes me when I talk to other hospital soldiers and they talk like, oh yeah, my 15,000, I just got it because they're brand new soldiers. They're like, oh, just got it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm about to re-enlist for the third time and I'm still not going to get one. And I'm like, oh, like, have you already talked to retention? No. I haven't even talked to the retention guy about this third enlistment. I just already know I'm not going to get anything. If I do, it's going to be $4,000 for 6 years.
We have an update. According to Lisa Rhodes, your dad still says he has a scar on his ass from.
Yeah, he shot himself in the ass with a roofing nail. It's a long nail. This wasn't an attack for a wall. He wore the saddle pouches, and he would, for loose hand nails for parts of the roof, rather than breaking them off the coil for the nail gun, because it just comes in a big coil, kind of like a machine gun belt. And so rather than breaking them off by hand, he would just grab it, and the nail guns have a safety on it to where if it's not pressed against something, it will shoot. So he would grab his hook knife and pull back the safety and then shoot into his pouch. So he could have some loose hand nails, and he wasn't paying attention. I personally think someone pretty drove by, and he looked and shot himself in the ass and nailed his roofing bag to his ass. So then he pulled out his hammer, pulled the nail out of his ass, and then continued along his fucking day. But I remember him limping into our house later that night for dinner and going to sit down and having to visibly lean on his left cheek. And we're like, what happened? He's like, I nailed myself in the ass. Yeah, roofing stuff. He's nailed his boot to the roof before. Classic roof shenanigans.
Classic.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing? We're gonna wrap, right?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So that was a good conversation. I'm interested to see what Firth would say, honestly, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. So let us know in the comments. Message us. Let us know. We're interested to find out if you guys think that a automatic conscription 2 years into the military service when you're 18 would be beneficial or the dumbest thing you have ever heard. We want to know what you guys think about it. What side are you on? Yes, no, yes, but maybe something different. Because a lot of different countries do it, and it's successful for a lot of different countries. And then also, actually, I don't need to know your opinion on the tax thing. We're all just going to agree universally that that's retarded, right?
Just go to.
Sorry, that's dumb. I apologize. That's dumb.
I was going to say something upset. Never mind. Let's go.
All right, guys. Please, as always, like, share, and subscribe. Give us some love. Give us some support. If there's something that you guys want us to talk about a little bit more, let us know. If there's something you don't want us to talk about, let us know. Criticism is great either way. From myself and the human Mr. Potato Head.
Rude!
You were shaking your eyebrows and stuff and molding your face. What? The brown Jim Carrey? Is that better? Love you guys. Have a good day. Peace. Push the button.